What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including an insane heel turn goes down after Bad Blood, Rhea Ripley doesn't want to face Liv Morgan anymore, the real reason Goldberg returned at Bad Blood, Drew McIntyre legitimately injured, Triple H answers a very controversial question in WWE, WWE gearing up for John Cena's return, will Raw on Netflix be 3 hours, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. Allow us to the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at an insane heel turn going down after Bad Blood. Now our top story today examines a major heel turn that took place following the culmination of Bad Blood last night. As WWE were delivering their typical post-PLE press conference, news broke on social media that the WWE Champion Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens were having a physical confrontation outside of Rhodes' bus. This was revealed thanks to fan footage of the incident, and it looked like Rhodes and Owens would begin to argue, and then Owens would proceed to viciously attack Rhodes before the WWE crew broke things up. This was a bold yet innovative way of delivering the Owens heel turn. Whilst there are already questions as to why this didn't air on Bad Blood last night, it gives the turn a sense of realism. Owens confronted his friend outside of his bus away from the cameras, and things escalated into a physical confrontation. The argument was no doubt related to Rhodes' alliance with Roman Reigns, and Owens clearly believes that Rhodes has turned his back on him by standing side by side with the man that ran rampant on WWE for 4 years straight. It's unknown if WWE filmed this segment, and it'll be interesting to see how WWE explains the heel turn on SmackDown next week. A rematch between Rhodes and Owens is the obvious destination right now, yet with the WWE already announcing Rhodes' crown jewel plans, the match will have to be put on hold until at least Survivor Series in late November. Next up, Rhea Ripley doesn't want to work with Liv Morgan anymore. Based on the controversial and botched finish to the Liv Morgan vs Rhea Ripley match last night, it looks like the feud is going to continue, and there is rampant speculation on social media that Triple H wants the feud to culminate on the grand stage of WrestleMania 41. But with that being said, Ripley doesn't have positive thoughts relating to facing Morgan at WrestleMania, and during her signing at Bad Blood this weekend, Ripley stated that she doesn't want the feud with Morgan to continue to WrestleMania, and she stated that she wants to face Bianca Belair in April. This is arguably the biggest dream match left in the women's division, and it without a doubt would warrant a spot on a WrestleMania match card. Some fans even believe that the gravity of the match would justify a main event spot, and it's hard to argue. One option WWE may look towards if they insist on Ripley vs Morgan at WrestleMania 41 is booking Ripley vs Belair for SummerSlam. With SummerSlam being a 2-night event next year, there's a strong possibility that a big money women's match will main event one of the respective nights. Who would you guys like to see Ripley face at WrestleMania? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the real reason that Goldberg returned to WWE. One of the talking points coming out of Bad Blood last night relates to Goldberg. Goldberg was involved in a memorable segment with World Champion Gunther, and it led to speculation that WWE are building a Goldberg vs Gunther showdown. Whilst Goldberg has never ruled out another match, he hasn't wrestled since 2022, and it was starting to look like the ship had sailed in that regard. Nevertheless, Triple H would address the possibility of the Hall of Famer wrestling again, and this is what the game had to say on the post-Bad Blood press conference. I can tell you, as I said, Atlanta loves Bill Goldberg, and that's why he was here tonight. He was with his wife and his son, always going to get a huge reaction here. You know, things get said. I can tell you that Bill came back, he was not happy with Gunther, and we'll see. The further you go, time catches up with all of us, and so the further you go, those talks get further and further away from reality. But the game finished his comments regarding Goldberg by saying never say never. But I don't know, I saw Bill earlier in the day and it was great. I saw Bill later in the day and there was a different look on his face with a spark in his eye, so I would say never say never. WWE in such a strong position both financially and creatively that they don't really need Goldberg. During the final years of Vince McMahon running WWE, he was prone to hitting the panic button and putting the world title on Goldberg, and this is something that they never need to consider at this point ever again. But with that being said, if Goldberg is going to come back into the fold to put over a young star such as Gunther or Bron Breakker, then it's not the worst idea in the world, as it would be a huge moment for one of these names to secure a huge clean win over such a wrestling legend. Next up, bad news for Drew McIntyre as he was legitimately injured. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk delivered a certified classic inside Hell in a Cell last night. The match had everything that fans could possibly want out of a Hell in a Cell showdown, and it had a sense of brutality that hasn't been seen in a cell since the Ruthless Aggression era. Critical acclaim for the match aside, unfortunately it looks like McIntyre is legitimately injured. According to PW Insider, McIntyre was legitimately busted open from the shot with the metal toolbox during the match. As a result of that sinister shot, McIntyre required 16 staples in his head to close up the wound. We send our best wishes for McIntyre for a speedy recovery, and we can't wait to see him back on TV. Next up, the mastermind behind a Bad Blood Classic revealed. Speaking of Drew McIntyre vs CM Punk, it's now been revealed who was responsible for helping to put the match together. According to Fightful Select, the incredible match was produced by none other than TNA legend Abyss. Abyss has been firing on all cylinders when it comes to his WWE production skills, and it's hardly a surprise that the former TNA star is embedded in his role of producing top PLE matches on the main roster. Next up, Triple H responds to WWE's diversity issues. It was only a matter of time before Triple H was directly asked about the recent criticism regarding the lack of diversity on PLE events. The criticism was presented towards Triple H on the post-Bad Blood press conference, and the game addressed the criticism by saying he doesn't see the difference in anybody. I don't see the difference in anybody. I don't see the color, I don't see the nationality. I don't see any of it. I just see talent. I don't see the difference between men and women. I see talent. We tell stories with those talent. How they can handle those stories and how they can represent those stories and how we can bring those stories forward. I don't keep track of any of that. I do what's relevant, I do what is best, and what is being delivered the best. That's what goes. No different than the men and women who main events. Whatever the biggest stories are, that's where we go. Next up, will Raw on Netflix be 3 hours? Raw is set to drop down to 2 hours as of tomorrow night, yet there is a strong belief that when Raw moves to Netflix in January 2025, the extra hour will return. However, according to Triple H in the post-Bad Blood press conference, he currently has no information surrounding how long Raw on Netflix is going to be. When I find that out, I will let you know. Raw goes down to 2 hours on October 7th on USA. What does that do for us? It's an hour less show. We found ourselves in the wild spot. If you had asked me a few years ago, 3 hours was just the difference between 2 and 3 is like night and day. I can't even express to you how much different that is. Now we're at this place where we're doing 3-hour shows and it'll drop to 2. Next up, a WWE star receives backstage praise. Chelsea Green has had a stellar 2024, and now Green's latest match, that being a dumpster match against Michin, has led to her receiving backstage praise. As per Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, Green received high praise for a dumpster match reaction, and the WWE even took photos after the match to highlight Green's performance. Next up, Jey Uso reacts to his brother's return. Jimmy Uso made his grand return to WWE television last night at Bad Blood, and his brother, current Intercontinental Champion Jey Uso, was quick to respond. Main Event Jey simply posted a shocked emoji on top of the footage on his Instagram story, and this certainly ramped up speculation that Jey is going to reinsert himself in the Bloodline saga sooner rather than later. And finally, WWE gearing up for John Cena's return. Our final story today takes a look at how WWE are getting set for the anticipated return of the legendary John Cena. Cena's final run in WWE is set to take place next year, and with his return just a few months away, WWE have filed for some new trademarks when it comes to the multi-time world champion. This past week, WWE filed trademarks for You Can't See Me, Never Give Up, and Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect. This is likely going to be in relation to new merchandise that will be released when Cena returns to the company in January. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.